For this, the second dedication, we had a dedication of the Harlan Hall upstairs moments ago. And we have this dedication today. And a year ago, at homecoming, our first homecoming in many a year, we had another dedication where we opened up labs on the 3rd floor. So, Dr. Moore, keep up the good work. This is an important year for us. Lawrence Technology is now an octogenarian. Interesting. That means we've been in business for 80 years. I knew you would. I knew you would. We've been celebrating 80 years of theory and practice of a great institution that is the leading edge of higher education in the Southeast Michigan market. And this week, it's homecoming week, and it's celebrating all that's going on. This is, as I said, our second homecoming in many years. And importantly this week, we inaugurated our 7th president, Dr. Viren Ramandia. 7 presidents in 80 years. That's a pretty remarkable track record. This dedication event recognizes the extreme generosity of John and Beth Harlan. John is a former trustee of the university, and he and his wife Beth became fast friends with Dr. Dick Marburger and his late wife Mary. And the symbolism of this dedication occurring during homecoming week, really I think represents that relationship that they've built and how it symbolizes home. Lawrence Tech, homecoming, the home and the relationship between the Harlans and the Marburgers. It's a dedication of a great hall, and to present some of the things and all the interest of what's going on here, I'd like to present Dean Moore to come up and give us a few remarks. Dean Moore.
Thank you, and I want to thank everybody for coming here. This is a very, very special day for us. It marks a milestone in the history of the College of Arts and Sciences. Many people, I speak on behalf of all our colleagues, we've been anticipating this day for many years. Ever since I came to Lawrence Tech, we've been thinking about how do we renovate this auditorium. And that actually turned out to be the largest space we have, but in recent years, it has become very much used very minimally because, as you remember, the lights were fairly poor, the sound were almost non-existent, the flooring had asbestos, and remember those green chairs? They were very difficult to sit on. So for many years we've been anticipating this, but one thing after another, we thought, actually several people remarked to me, we will never see this day come true because it just is too expensive. So I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. John Harlan and Beth Harlan and their daughter Diane and her husband David for being here, and you really make our dream come true. So thank you, a big thank you to you. I also want to acknowledge the architect of record who are actually alums of ours. They are Gina and Ken Bentine of Inform Studio, and they couldn't be here today, and they are represented by Corey Levine. Thank you for being here. Later on, you will be able to take a peek at the auditorium. You will see how creatively they blend the old with the new, and it's a very beautiful design. And I don't see Joe Verizer here. Joe, are you here? He is our university architect, and I thought after last year's renovations he's going to disown us, but he continued to work with us and pay such amazing detailed attention to details, to anywhere from the carpeting to the risers to actually when the signs came up, the lighting didn't really quite work, so you can't see the signage from every single angle. So he had to come up with some ingenious solution to make this work. So Joe, we owe you a lot. So wherever you are, I thank you. been an inspiration for all of us. You and your family have been such generous friends to our college. And having Mary E. Marburger's name permanently associated with our building, we're so honored. So thank you so much. I know there are many people who have contributed to the Mary E. Marburger Interdisciplinary Facilities Fund, and that made it possible to do the Harlan Hall, the auditorium, the physics lab, which I hope you will be able to see, in the hallways, the stairwell. I hope you will be able to see it. So I want to thank everyone who has made very generous donations to our college. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Moore, for those heartfelt remarks, and thank you for recognizing the donors in the way that you have. We'll be taking on a few more donor calls. I'd now like to call upon the Dean of the College of Engineering, Dr. Nabil Grace, to say a few words about the interdisciplinary nature of what our colleges are all about and how this auditorium symbolizes that.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
President Marburger, Dr. Marburger, Dave, Diane. Thank you so much for being here today, and thanks for your help. It's not secret, S100 has a special place in my heart. S100 has its fingerprints on our faculty, staff, and students. We argue a lot who's going to get to S100. It's a beautiful place. Yes, it was bad. I agree with you. You cannot sit in the back seat, I can tell you that for sure. The sound was bad. In fact, we had a wonderful occasion today. We welcomed our students, interested students with their parents. And I'm so proud. I was standing way there, down there, with the new speaker system, with the new lighting system, with the seats. In fact, I went all the way back and I tried all of them. So certainly, it's a very good experience. And then, I had the pleasure of meeting John many times. And last time he visited me over here at the College of Engineering, I gave him a tour. I took him to many labs, especially at Simmer. And I showed him what we are doing, some of the innovation. In fact, he encouraged me quite a bit. He said, I remember very well, some time ago when he started his business, he used to build bridges. And he spoke about it for some time. So I'm very thankful to you and to him. And Dave, you and I worked together for a number of years. So I thank you so much for being here today. And really, S100 is a cornerstone for the College of Engineering, for Art and Science. We work together always. So S100, Dr. Marburger, without your help, it would not have been possible. Thank you. You and I and Mary have a lot of good memories in S100 since 1988. So thank you is not enough. But really, I thank you for being around us, sharing your experience, the wealth of knowledge, and we thank all of you for being here today. Thank you on behalf of our faculty and students. Thank you.
And now, the man who made it all possible. Everybody knows this man. He's got enthusiasm. He's got energy. He is a man who, I gotta tell you, inspires us every day. 4 decades he's been wandering around these halls. And he still, to this day, continues to help students make their decisions and make them wisely. He comes with us on donor calls, because he's an inspiration. He's got a rich history about this institution. He's just a man who, I tell you, it makes me happy to come to work every day, to know this man and to be a part of it.
Thank you, Steve.
It's true. And, of course, I can't but help emulate all of his mannerisms, because they are inspiring. Dr. Marburger.
Certainly appreciate that low-key introduction. It's a great honor to be here. Unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, I will do my very best. I don't have that much to say, but what I do have to say is startlingly important. First of all, I would like to again point out that one of the great aspects of the Mary E. Marburger Science and Engineering Auditorium, it is the first construction on the new engineering, life sciences, and architecture building. And so if people ask any of the deans or Dr. Vaz or anybody here, Dr. Madgill, what will be the quality of the new building? Well, here's an example, and I think it meets that standard. Also, I am so pleased to re-emphasize the name of this auditorium. It was kindly turned over to me by Chancellor Lewis Walker and Steve Brown. And I was able to emphasize what Dr. Madgill, President Madgill, says repeatedly and did earlier this morning. It's the collaboration on this campus that makes us so strong. Our deans work together, Dean Grace and Dean Moore in this case, but there are many other cases of that. And I see our provost, Dr. Vaz here. We work out brilliantly and heroically mornings whenever she can get there. Dr. Vaz is there, and Dr. Dinshammer and others. And we, as Dr. Moore was building those labs on the 3rd floor, chemistry and biological labs, which we hope you get up to see. She was continually having her eye on the life sciences and on biomedical engineering, which Dr. Grace and Dr. Eden Jensen had over in the College of Engineering. And in this way, by these collaborations, Lawrence Tech moves ahead. And the president has said that over and over again as he first arrived on campus. We are all on the same page as compared to other campuses where the deans really battle each other. They compete with each other. And Dr. Madgill will not have to say what I used to have to say to I had great deans, but I used to have to say, hey, look, our competition is up there, not here. And it's all very well understood here, and we're so proud of that. This auditorium was funded by the spirit of young Steve Ballmer, who is now the CEO of Microsoft, a very large-scale software house. And we have heard of them. They're in Washington. Every time you turn on your computer, you can see them. I envy them for that. Dr. Madgill would like to have us do that too. So Steve Ballmer has risen, and I say that only as a single illustration of many, that there's no limit to how high you can rise if you go to Lawrence Tech. So keep that in mind, please. So it was the spirit of young Steve Ballmer, still, he studied here, runs these halls. And of course it was funded, thanks to the Harlan family, and dedicated to my late wife, Mary. I will conclude my presentation by just listing for you a marvelous exhibit of a strong memory at a very old age. My family is here. I have 4 children and 4 grandchildren here today. And I will name them for you. You don't think I can do it, do you? Well, watch this. Cheryl and Dennis Marburger, Catherine and Glenn Charles are my children. Some are my in-laws, but that's a distinction without a difference. They are all my children. And my 4 grandchildren, which are Michael Marburger. He was the first. Aha! And he'll never let the others forget that. Christina Charles. Oh, and then Brian Marburger and Matthew Charles. That's the whole assemblage. I'm so proud to have them. I asked for a round of spontaneous applause. I'm sure it's going to happen.
He's the gem, isn't he? It's a tough act to follow. Lawrence Lawrence Tech is fortunate enough to partner with governments and governmental agencies locally and in the United States. Our campus home is the heart of technology here in Oakland County. Now, there is another university in Oakland County, but not one that's as good as this one. Isn't that right, Doctor? No, And we're pleased to welcome Oakland County Commissioner Jim Runstad, who will represent a special recognition and proclamation to Dr. Marburger. Jim.
Well, thank you. I'm very pleased to be here today to be able to represent Oakland County and recognizing the achievements and legacy of Dr. Marburger, and also thanking Mr. and Mrs. Harlan for the financing of this auditorium. And I've heard over the years of the unbelievable amount of dedication that Dr. Marburger has shown after he retired, coming back here 6-7 days a week and doing volunteer work to help students. And I talked with a couple of retired professors here today who also have come back and put some time in large part because of the inspiration of Dr. Marburger. He is such an inspiration for everybody in terms of the commitment that he has made here to the university. And I do want to read the proclamation that I will be presenting to Dr. Marburger. And this is honoring Dr. Richard Marburger with special dedication of the Mary E. Marburger Science and Engineering Auditorium. Whereas the qualities of life for which we take pride in Oakland County can best be measured by the extraordinary educational institutions, educators, and contributors who have enhanced the lives of many people in our community. It is through the great contributions of skilled and dedicated professors, instructors, and contributors in our institution of higher learning who have laid the foundation for intellectual development. And whereas Dr. Richard Marburger is a distinguished president emeritus of Lawrence Technological University, who joined the university's adjunct facility in 1965, where he excelled and advanced to numerous positions. During his tenure, he became Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences and was Vice President of Academic Affairs before serving as President from 1977 to 1993. He taught on campus until 2001 and continues to serve as a volunteer, full-time volunteer. Whereas Dr. Richard Marburger spent a great portion of his professional life with the love of his life, his wife, the late E. Marburger, a dedicated Sunday school teacher who served for 60 years at the church. They both grew up in Highland Park, Michigan. From their union, they had 2 children who are here today, Dennis and Catherine, and each earned degrees from Lawrence Technological University. And whereas the late Mary E. Marburger devoted a great deal of her time, effort, personal savings, and devotion to Lawrence Technological University for 40 years, her husband, Richard Marburger's contribution to the university's work environment and community have been tremendous. It is his dedication and commitment, along with the family's strong ties to the university, that we celebrate on this special occasion dedicating the Mary E. Marburger Science and Engineering Auditorium. Whereas in the memory of Dr. Marburger's late wife, Mary Marburger, we honor both their legacies and as contributors to the university by dedicating the Mary E. Marburger Science and Engineering Auditorium, which is an ultra-modern facility that is planned for the engineering, life science, and architecture building. We join the Southfield community, the Lawrence Technological University faculty, students, and funding contributors to commemorate this special occasion and the continued tradition of educational excellence. And whereas the naming of the Mary E. Marburger Science and Engineering Auditorium reflect the unequal collaboration between various economic and support units of Lawrence Technological University, along with a wide-ranging cooperation between the College of Arts, Science, College of Engineering, College of Architecture and Design, the efforts of the longtime Lawrence Technological University trustee and former chairman of Harlan Electronic company, John Harlan, made the funding of the auditorium possible for all of their work. We appreciate as we celebrate the legacy of Mary E. Marburger. Now, therefore, I, County Commissioner Jim Runstead, along with fellow commissioners Mike Gingell, Nancy Quarles, Janet Jackson, Helene Zach, do hereby commemorate the special dedication of the Mary E. Marburger Science and Engineering Auditorium, which will serve as a valuable educational resource. Congratulations, Dr. Marburger.
I have no rebuttal to offer.
How rare is that? Thank you very much, Jim. We do appreciate that, and those are wonderful words that we'll put on the wall here to make sure that everybody understands the full significance of this.
Thank you.
I'd now like to call upon our president, as I said earlier, the 7th president in our 80-year history, Dr. Birender Madja. Dr. Madja.
And good afternoon, everyone. Well, there are a lot of thoughts that come to my mind, but it's such a somber and important occasion, I have to restrict myself in saying what I wish I could at another time, but I'll still try. First of all, there are very few presidents in higher education that I know of. I personally don't know any, but there are, if there are, there are very few, who have the pleasure of being mentored by another president. It is my great fortune to have Dr. Marburger around to guide me through the path that he so artfully walked on and created this prestigious, world-known institution. And there are very few leaders and innovators and presidents who have transformative, this word is used so loosely, transformative experience. But where it really applies, it applies to Dr. Marburger. We were Institute of Technology. He made it Technology University. So please help me acknowledge that real transformative event. I've been here 3 months, and it looks like I've been here for a while. It's not because of any other reason other than that I have put so many miles on my feet in these 3 months, trying to meet every faculty, student, staff who come in my way or I got in their way. Because I'm so passionate about this institution, its history, its legacy, how it started. It started during Depression time when people lost their home, their bank deposit was insecure, they were thrown on the streets. It was Lawrence his dream that we want a university or educational system where people, engineers and others could learn and actually use it to transform the society during difficult times. And that's where Russell Lawrence took the lead, and later on with his brother on Henry Ford's great Model T assembly plant, where he made famous the Model T and became perhaps the richest man in the world. And what his issue was that we need endogenous engineers. And that's where Russell Lawrence and his brother came up and stepped up by saying, we'll produce education, skilled, trained engineer who will help your company and the dominance of manufacturing in Michigan go forward. If that is the legacy, then it puts a lot of emphasis and responsibility on all of our shoulders who are either alumni of Lawrence Tech, who are students of Lawrence Tech, who work here as employees. We are custodians of this legacy. And that legacy could not have been protected any better than it was done by Dr. Marburger. So please acknowledge that as well. Very kind to me whenever we meet, so when he says there's not anything I can disagree with him, but I do disagree with one expression he made. he indicated he was old and he may not remember the names of his children or grandchildren. I disagree. To me, the old age is when you forget the name of your twin sister. Not children and grandchildren. He's young at heart, he's energetic. Every time we meet, he gives me the energy I need to go through the day. So we're very grateful for that. The institutional vision is what we are all here together. I had a great fortune to go to Traverse City with our advancement group to meet alumni. And that's where I met Mr. and Mrs. Harlan. And I will say that I was a little nervous. Not only meeting with him, what he may expect of me. Because you're talking to legendary men and women who shaped this institution. I had heard about him, his role and his leadership at Lawrence Tech, both in the board and on the campus. So it was maybe first month over there when I was there, and I was a bit nervous. So I engaged them both. And I think within a short few minutes, all those fears disappeared. Because he wanted the same thing that I want. He wanted the same thing for Lawrence Tech that Dr. Marburger wanted. He wanted a strong student population. He wanted a robust campus. He asked me what will be my goals, and I shared with them. And with that conversation, he shook my hand. He said, "The university is in good hands. Go ahead, boy." Yes, this is what he's all about. The people who care about this university, people who have invested their lifetime, their knowledge, their friendship, the community building, which is ably demonstrated in his friendship with Dr. Marburger. So both Mr. and Mrs. Harlan were dear friends from that time. Not only that, when I shared this information with some, they were surprised. He said, "Oh, you're lucky." I said, "Why?" He said, "You got an email from him?" I said, "Yes, I did." Because he's at least reputedly reserved, so to say. And for him to write an email to me, that's my precious album to keep. Because he guided me and he gave me the vision how he can help me advance this institution and how my ideas fitted with his. So with that, I think you see a Lawrence Tech assembly. Dr. Marburger addressed that earlier, and I spoke about it in a meeting earlier before we came here. And that is the Lawrence Tech beauty is we are one family. We are one academic family. In my previous institution, which is a good institution, but we are not competing. We are competing with ourselves to become better. We don't want to be somebody else. Our competition, as he said, is outside. We want to be the best we can be. And to do that, we need to focus on our students. The only reason we come to work, there are many others, but the primary reason is we want to educate our students to become leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs. So when they leave here, they represent us well, they are our ambassadors in the real world, and there are multiple examples of their prominence in the field they have adopted. Within a short time, I learned so many marvelous things. From ground to space, Lawrence Tech has impact everywhere. Just earlier this morning, I shared the fact, which I learned recently, that we should be all proud of. I mean, how high can you go? We have the Lawrence Tech graduate building the tallest building in China. That's the tallest in China. Is there something beyond China these days? We owe them a lot of money. But yes, there is something beyond that, and that's space. We just learned that the Mars rover that landed on Mars, it had sensors designed by Lawrence Tech alumni. How about that? And that is the impact of Lawrence Tech education. And that is what I owe to him and people, Mr. Harlan and others who preceded me. They set the stage for excellence. We are not a university where everybody is welcome. They're welcome to come see our campus. But this is not an open-door university anymore where anyone can come and become a student. We are selective. We are seeking students who want to be thinkers, innovators, entrepreneurs, as some of the commercials say. And I learned that some students couldn't get in Lawrence Tech. Made me sad some way, but happy as well. Sad for those who could not get in and they wanted to be, and happy that we have some standards. and that you could be proud of. This is not a university for everyone. If you just want a diploma, I can give them a list of 20 universities, some are small colleges, around us who will take anybody. But if you want leaders who are going to have transformative influence on our society, on our campus, working with our outstanding faculty, one-to-one, pound-to-pound, and they say in boxing, our faculty are the best. And if they mentor these students, they have bright future. So that's what I'm all about, that with your support, with your encouragement, and mentorship by Dr. Marburger and Dr. Walker, who is still here, I'm willing to put myself 24/7 to build a campus with you together. We're going to do it, I can't do it alone. One that if you had a diploma from this university, you can say, I'm an LTU graduate, and say it proudly, and wear a button of LTU. Because our graduate students in future, every single one would have applied research experience. Not advised, but required. I'm going to work with the provost, she and I have already spoken about it, and work with the deans to make it possible. And how is it possible? I'm going to have to ask for your support. If we want eminence, if we want uniqueness, if you want to say I belong to a school that is so unique, in which I have a part, that the students graduating are different than anything else you've seen. And then that would be that all students would have applied research experience. There is not a single university that does that. For that, we will have to work with our deans, work with department chairs and faculty, give them some support, both from teaching as well as in monetary issues, so that they can now be engaged further. They're already doing all they can into enhancing student experience. There are buildings coming up on our campus. Many alumni have come back. They are in awe of this campus now. If you were here 30 years ago, 20 years ago, you could not recognize this campus. And they're very happy to see this. But we have a long way to go. And this Mary Marburger Auditorium is the latest example of excellence at Lawrence Tech. So please help me acknowledge this great addition to our campus. And I will say this, in my experience, the deans, the department chairs, the faculty, they all work together. This is a unique experience. I have been in higher education 40 years. I have not seen a place where people do not compete with each other for these issues. Not here. Every time I met them, they're willing to give away something that helps other person because Lawrence Tech does better. That is a great legacy for this institution. And your presence here to honor Mary E. Marburger and Dr. Marburger's contribution and their contribution via the generosity of our alumni and Mr. and Mrs. Harlan, I think this is a great family to which I want to belong. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Marburger. I'm sorry, Dr. Mongill. Both began with M. And now we're going to have a special ceremony. And we have to make space for the photographer and for Dr. Marburger to use these scissors. These are very dangerous. Now be careful.
Let's hold it together.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Yes.
One more? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Get this one. Get this one.
Okay, go ahead.
Those of you who are seated are going to see a performance on this stage for the first time since it's been renovated. And I'd now like to ask Dr. Glenn Bauer to come up and make a few remarks.
Well, again, thank you all for being here. As Steve said, what we're going to enjoy right now is a few scenes performed by our Society of Dramatic Art students, our soda students, and you've seen signs soda. That's not about pop, that's not a drink. That's our student group. And I have to tell you that the soda group is actually very near and dear to our hearts in arts and sciences. We owe a lot to them, a lot of things, not only just for entertainment. They're such great students, of course, but also they've been sort of the catalyst for lots of good things in the building and specifically in this space. When SODA came on board in the spring or first of the year of 2007 and organized and was getting ready to put on a play, the first thing we discovered is, gee, the stage curtains are shredded. We have to replace the stage curtains, which they were. The stage curtains were so old that they had sheared from their own weight off at the top. That's how old they were. So it was okay, we better change the stage curtains. So without SODA, we wouldn't have new stage curtains. And then it's, gee, we have no light because the dimmer panel in the back had burned out years before and it was so old that you couldn't get replacement parts. So we had to buy a new dimmer panel. Okay? And oh, by the way, the sound system. What sound system? SODA has, made the best of this space. Although you've got new seats now, the old seats, all of the step lights had burned out. So we put in new step lights thanks to SODA. So little by little, now we've got this wonderful new auditorium, but even before the renovation, they were the driver for us to make improvements in here. So we're very grateful to the SODA group, independent of the entertainment value that they give us here. They've just been a great addition. So, without further ado, as they say, I'm going to turn it over to Jake and the SODA gang. You want to say a few words, Jake?
Sure.
All right.
Hi, I'm the president of SODA. This is my second semester. I'm a chemical biology major, so it's not really my natural organization of choice, but in high school I did do performances, and when I found out that SODA was on campus, I was so excited, and I had to join it right away. So I did, and it's been one of my favorite experiences from college. So today we are going to be doing some scenes from Shakespeare. So the first scene we're doing is As You Like It, which is by Shakespeare, and the description is in the program. And I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you.
Why, cousin? Why, Rosalind? Cupid have mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
No, thy words are too precious to be cast away upon curs. Come, throw some of them at me. Blame me with reasons.
Then there would be two cousins laid up. The one should be lame with reasons, and the other mad without any.
But is all this for your father?
No, some of it is for my child's father. Oh, how full of briars is this working-day world.
They are but burrs, cousin, thrown upon thee in holiday foolery. If we walk not in the trodden paths, our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake them off my petticoat. These burrs are in my heart.
Hand them away.
I would try if I could cry hem and have him.
Come, come, wrestle with thy affections.
They take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
A good wish upon thee. You will try in time, in despite of the fall. But turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible on such a sudden that you should fall into so strong a lightning with old Sir Roland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Doth it then ensue that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Orlando.
No, faith, hate him not for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that, and you do love him because I do.
Look, here comes the Duke, with his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste, and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, within these 10 days, if that thou beest found so near a public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace, let the knowledge of my fault bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence, or I have acquaintance with my own desires, if I do not dream or be not frantic, as I trust I am not, Then, good my liege, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors. If their purgations did consist in words, they are as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me where on the likelihood it depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. There's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or if we do derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Therefore, good my liege, mistake me not so much as to think my poverty is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Aye, Celia, we stayed here for your sake, else had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young that time to value her, but now I know her. If she be a traitor, why then so am I. Still, we have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, ate together, and wheresoever we went, like Juno's swans, still we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee. Her smoothness, her very silence, her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool, she robs thee of thy name. Firm, then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom, which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot stay out of her company.
You are a fool. You, niece, provide yourself. If you outstay the time upon mine honor, then in the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I would give thee mine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am.
Well, I have more cause.
Thou hast not. Prithee be cheerful. Knowst thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not? Rosalind lacks then the love that teacheth thee that thou and I are one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No. Let my father find another heir. Therefore, devise with me how we may fly, whither to go and what to bear with us. And do not seek to take your change upon yourself, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out. For by this heaven now at our sorrows pale, say what thou canst, I'll go along with thee.
Why, whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be, maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll dress myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The like do you. So shall we pass and never stir assailants.
Were it not better, because I am more than common tall, that I did suit me all points like a man, a gallant curtle axe upon my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart lie there what hidden women fear their will have a swashing marshal outside, as many other mannish cowards do that do outface it with their semblances.
And what shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page, and therefore, look you call me Ganymede. But what will I call you?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
But cousin, what if we assailed to steal that clownish fool from your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travels?
He'll go along over the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away and get our jewels and our wealth together, and devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now go we in content, to liberty, and not to banishment.
The next scene we will be doing is Hamlet.
In youth, when I did love, methought it was very sweet. To contract, oh, the time for my behove. Methought there was plenty of meat.
Hath this fellow no feeling of his business? He sings in grave making.
Custom hath made it in him of the property of easiness.
'Tis even so. The hand of little employment hath the daintier sense.
O age with his stealing step hath clawed me in his clutch, and sent me back into the land as if I'd never been such.
This skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How these knaves jowl it to the ground as though it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. This might be the pate of a politician, which this ass now overreaches, one that could circumvent God. Might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or that of a courtier who might say, "Good morrow, sweet lord. How dost thou, sweet lord?" Why, this might be my lord such a one that praised my lord such a one's horse when they met to bed. Might it not?
Aye, my lord.
And now, my lady worms, chopless, knocked about the mazzard by a sexton's spade. Here's fine revolution, and we had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost no more at the breeding than to play at loggets with them? Mine ache to think on it.
Pickaxe and a spade, and a shrouded sheet. Oh, a bit of clay for to be made, with such a guest as meet.
Here's another. Might this be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities now, his quillities, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks? Why does he suffer these mad rogues to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not inform them of his battery? This skull in his time might be a great buyer of land. Where be his statutes, his recognizances, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries? Is this the fine of his fines, and the recovery of his recoveries? To have his fine pate full of fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch him no more, and double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures? The very conveyances of his land will scarcely lie in the box, and must the inheritor himself have no more? Ha!
Not a jot more, my lord.
Is parchment not made of sheepskins?
Aye, and of calfskins too.
They are sheeps and calves which seek out assurance in that. I shall speak to these fellows. Whose grave's this, sirrah?
'Tis mine, sir. Oh, a bit of clay for to be made.
I believe it be thine, for thou liest in it.
You lay out on it, sir, and therefore 'tis not yours. For my part, I do not lay in it, and yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, to be in it and say it is thine? 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore, thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. Now twill away again from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman, then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute these knaves are. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, these last 3 years I have noted, the age is grown so picked, the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, he galls his copy. How long hast thou been gravemaker?
Of all the days I had here, since the late King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every folk can tell that. Why, it was the very day that young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent into England.
Aye, marry. Why was he sent into England?
Why? Because he was mad, and sent there to recover his wits. Or, if they do not, 'tis no matter there.
Why?
There the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, e'en with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Here in Denmark. I've been sexton here for 30 years, man and boy.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
Faith, if it be not rotten before he die, as we have many potty corpses nowadays that scarce hold the laying in, I will last you 8 year or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why? Because his hide is so tanned by his trade. Here's another skull that has lying in the earth 3 year.
Whose was it?
A horse of mad fellows it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
What a mad rogue. He hath poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. That same skull, sir, was Sir York, the king's jester.
This?
E'en that.
Alas, poor Yor. I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of excellent jest, of most infinite fancy. He hath borne me on his shoulders 1,000 times, and now, how abhorrent it is in my memory. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar? Not one to mock your own grinning? Quite chop-fallen? Nay, get thee to my lady's table. Tell her, let her paint an inch thick, for to this favor she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked to this fashion in the earth?
E'en so.
And smelt so? Pah!
E'en so, my lord.
To what base uses we may return. Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till they find him stopping a bunghole?
'Twere to consider too curiously to consider so.
Nay, not a jot, but to follow it thither with modesty enough and likelihood to lead it. Alexander died. Alexander was buried. Alexander returneth to dust. The dust is earth. Of earth we make the loam. And why not of the loam whereto he was converted might they stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth that kept the world at awe might patch a hole to expel the winter's flaw. But soft a while. Here comes the king, the queen, the courtiers. Who is this they follow? And with such maimed rites? This doth betoken that this corpse did with some desperate hand forego its own life. 'Twas of some estate. Couch we a while and mark.
Next scene will be from A Midsummer Night's Dream.
But who comes here? I'm invisible, and I will overhear the conference.
I love thee not, therefore pursue me not. Where is Lysander and fair Hermia? The one I'll slay, the other slayeth me. Thou toldst me they were stolen unto this wood, and here am I, wood within this wood. And still I cannot find my Hermia. Hence get thee gone and follow me no more.
You draw me, you hard-hearted Adamant, yet you draw not iron from my heart as true as steel. Leave you your power to draw, and I shall have no power to follow you.
Do I entice you? Do I speak you fair? Or do I not in plainest truth tell you that I do not, nor I cannot love you?
And even for that I do love you the more. I am your spaniel, and Demetrius, the more you beat me, the more I will fawn on you. Use me but as your spaniel. Strike me, spurn me, neglect me, lose me. Only give me leave, unworthy as I am, to follow you. What worser place can I beg in your love, and yet a place of such high respect as me, than to be used as you use your dog?
Tempt not too much the hatred of my spirit, for I am sick when I do look on thee.
And I am sick when I look not on thee.
You do impeach your modesty too much. To leave the city and commit yourself into the hands of one that loves you not. To trust the opportunity of night and the ill counsel of a desert place with the rich worth of your virginity.
Your virtue is my privilege for that. It is not night when I do see your face. Therefore I think I am not in the night, nor doth this wood lack worlds of company for you, in my respect, of all the world. Therefore how can it be said that I am alone when all the world is here to look on me?
I'll run from thee and hide me in the brakes. Leave thee to the mercy of the wild beasts.
The wildest hath not such a heart as you. Fine, run when you will, the story shall be changed. Apollo flies and Daphne holds the chase. The dove pursues the griffin, the mild hind gives speed to catch the tiger. Bootless speed when cowardice pursues and valor flies.
I will not stay thy questions, let me go. Or if thou follows me, do not believe when I shall do thee mischief in the wood.
I, in the temple, in the town, the field, you do me mischief. Fie, Demetrius, your wrongs do set a scandal on my sex. We cannot fight for love as men may do. We should be wooed, and we're not made to woo. I'll follow thee and make a heaven out of hell to die upon the hand I love so well.
Fare thee well, nymph. Ere he do leave this grove, thou shalt flight him, and he shall seek thy love. Hast thou the flower there? Welcome, wanderer.
Aye, there it is.
I pray thee, give it to me. I know a bank where the wild thyme blows, where ox lips and the nodding violet grows, quite over-canopied with luscious woodbine, with sweet musk roses, and with eglantine. There sleeps Titania some time of the night, lulled in these flowers with dances and delight. And there the snake throws her enameled skin, weed wide enough to wrap a fairy in. And with the juice of this, I'll streak her eyes, and make her full of hateful fantasies. Take thou some of this, and seek through this grove. A sweet Athenian lady is in love with a disdainful youth. Anoint his eyes, but do it when the next thing he espies may be the lady. Thou shalt know the man by the Athenian garments he hath on. Affect it with some care, so that he may prove more fond on her than her upon her love. And look thou meet me ere the first cock crow.
Fear not, my lord. Your servant shall do so.
My lady,
No, I will not. All strange and terrible events are welcome, but comforts we despise. The size of our sorrow, proportioned to our cause, must be as great as that which makes it. How now? Is he dead?
His death's upon him, but not dead. Look out on the other side your monument. His guard hath brought him thither.
O sun, burn the grey spear thou movest then. Darkling stand the varying shores o' the world. Oh, Antony! 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 Help, Charmian! Help, Iris! Help! Help, friends below! Lest we must draw thee up!
Peace! Not Caesar's valor hath o'erthrown Antony, but Antony's hath triumphed on itself.
So it should be, that none but Antony should conquer Antony, but woe, 'tis so!
I am dying, Egypt, dying. But I here importune death awhile, until of many thousand kisses, the poor last I lay upon thy lips.
No, my lord, I dare not. Please, pardon, I dare not. Please come hither, and welcome. Welcome.
I am dying, Egypt, dying. Give me some wine and let me speak a little.
No, let me speak, and let me rail so high that the false hoped wife Fortune did break her wheel, provoked by my offense.
One word, sweet queen. Of Caesar, seek your honor, with your safety. Oh,
They do not go together.
gentle, hear me. None about Caesar trust, but Proculius.
My resolution in my hands I'll trust, none about Caesar.
The miserable change now at my end, lament nor sorrow at. But please your thoughts in feeding them with those my former fortunes, wherein I lived the greatest prince of the world. And now, do not basely die, do not put off my helmet to my countrymen. A Roman, by a Roman, valiantly vanquished. Now, my spirit is going, I can no more.
Noblest of men, wilt die? Dost thou have no care of me? Shall I abide in this dull world, which in thy essence is no better than a sty? Ah, women, look. Oh, this crown of the earth doth melt. Oh, withered is the garland of war. The soldier's pole is fallen. Young boys and girls are level now with men. Not the imperials. Oh. Oh! Oh!
oh quietness, my lady. Our sovereign, lady.
She is dead too.
Lady.
Madam, madam.
Oh, madam, madam.
Royal Egypt Empress!
Peace, peace, Iris.
No more, but e'en a woman and commanded. by such poor passion as to make them out and does the meanest chairs. It were for me to throw my scepter at the injurious gods, to tell them that our world did equal theirs, till they had stolen our jewel. All's but not. Patience is sottish, and impatience does become a dog that's mad. Then, is it sin to walk into the secret house of death, ere death dare come to us? How do you, my women? What? Good cheer? Why, how now, Charmian? Ah, women. Look, our lamp is out, it's spent. Good sirs, take heart. We'll bury him, and then, what's brave, what's noble, let's dot after the high Roman fashion, and make death proud to take us. Come away, this case of that huge spirit now is cold. Ah, women, come, we have no friends, but resolution and the briefest end.
The next scene is the epilogue of The Tempest.
Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and here strength I have's mine own, which is most faint, now 'tis true. I must be here confined by you, or sent to Naples, let me not, since I here my dukedom got, and pardon the deceiver dwell on this bare island by your spell, and release me from my bands, with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath, fill my sails, or else my plan will fail. Oh, my end is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces and so assaults mercy itself and leaves no fault. As you, for crimes a pardon be, let your indulgence set me free.
Okay, so that was our performance. I'd like to thank the Harlan family and the Marburger family for making this theater possible. It'll be so nice to perform on it this December when we do the Crucible. And I'd like to bring out the cast and introduce them. So this first person is Emily Voda. She played Helena and Rosalind. Next is Vance Arnold. He played Duke Frederick and Demetrius. Diana Brazier played Cleopatra. Daniel Croft played Hamlet and Antony. Hendrickson played Celia and Puck. Penny Fitzgerald played Oberon, Gravedigger 1, and Diomedes. A.T. played Gravedigger 2. He played Charmian, and he said the epilogue. Our cast, and we hope to see you in December at the Crucible.